Hey there, I'm Benjamin from Loves Data. In this video, I'm going to show you how to track zero search results into Google Analytics. You can use this approach if you do have a search function on your website and you want to be able to report on when there are no results returned as someone's actually searching on your website. So for today, we're going to use WordPress as an example, but of course you can apply the same techniques to other platforms that you're using to manage your website. So I'm coming into this demo WordPress site that I've installed, and let's just plug in a search query. So in this particular case, I'm going to enter test and click on search. And this will then give us the search results page. Now we can see for this particular search results page, it's saying that there are no results. So this is exactly what we want to track into Google Analytics. Now there's a couple of things to consider. So first of all, we can see in the URL bar, there's actually a query parameter that's driving the search results page on the website. So we can see the URL of our website, a question mark, and then S equals test. So this S is actually the query parameter that's driving the search result. So if we change this, let's maybe put in WordPress, for example, and let's see what we get this time. So now we can see we've searched for WordPress and we have question mark S equals WordPress. And now we actually have two search results on this demo WordPress site. So this is what we don't want to track if we're trying to track zero search results. So let's head back to test. And what we can see here is in WordPress, we actually have this message. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by right-clicking on the message and clicking inspect. Basically, we're looking for something that we can use to trigger a tag using Google Tag Manager. So if we actually come in, we can see we have, what do we have? We've got a div for the primary section. If we actually come down, we can see here there's a section with a class of no results. So what we can do is we can test this, of course, but I'm pretty sure if there's a class of no dash results, then that's what we can use. But let's just have a quick look. Let's go back to the WordPress example that we looked at. We can right click again, click on inspect. And here we can see we have, in this particular case, we've got the primary div again, but this time it says search results count. So that means that if we go back, this is what we're going to want to use. We're going to want to use this particular class in order to actually drive or trigger, I should say, the tag in Google Tag Manager and then send that information through to Google Analytics. So I'm going to show you how to do this first, and then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and I'm going to show you another approach that you can use if you do not see a class that you can use. So in other words, if this was not there, if there was no sort of class that we could use out of the HTML, then I'll show you another technique that you can use instead. So let's start with this option. So what we're going to do is we're going to head to Google Tag Manager. And to begin with, I suggest you come into tags. Now for this video, I've created a brand new Google Tag Manager container, so we can see we have no tags. So the first step that we need to do is we actually need to add the Google tag to send data to Google Analytics. So I'm going to put in Google tag GA4, and I'm going to select tag configuration. And then I'm going to select Google Analytics and I'm going to choose the Google tag. If you already have this tag, you don't need to repeat these steps. This is if you're just starting from scratch. So what we're going to need is we're going to need our measurement ID from Google Analytics. So let's head to Google Analytics. This is my demo property. I'm going to navigate to admin and wait until that loads up for us. And then what we're looking for is data streams. You can find that in the middle here, or you can also come into data collection and select data streams to find it as well. So now we open up our data stream, we need our measurement ID, top right hand corner, let's copy that and let's head back to Google Tag Manager. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to paste in our tag ID, that's great. And then basically I'm just going to set this up so it fires for our page view tag. So I recommend using the initialization all pages trigger. This will fire it on all pages before any other tags, excluding any consent tags, I should mention, and let's save that tag. So if you already have a Google tag sending data to Google Analytics, you don't need to complete those steps. Now what we can do is we can create our new tag for our no search results appearing on our website. Before we do that, let's actually create a couple of things. So let's start off by heading to triggers. And we're going to create the trigger to actually fire our no search results tag. So let's click on new, and we're going to name this no search results. And I'm going to call this V1 because I'm going to show you two different options to do this, right? And then we're going to click on tag configuration. And for this one, we're going to use element visibility. So we're going to come down and looking for element visibility. And what we're going to do is when the no search results message pops up, we're going to use that class to then fire our tag. So I'm going to go element visibility. It was a class, so we're going to change this to CSS selector. And then we're going to put in a full stop. And then we're going to put in the no-results. So again, just to highlight, coming back to my example, I'm pulling that in from this particular class. So you'll need, it doesn't need to be exactly that, but you'll need a class that identifies when there are no search results to use this approach. So that's what I'm entering in here. I'm going to leave it as once per page. And then what I do suggest you also do, just in case for whatever reason that particular style or class is applied to other elements on your website, what I suggest is selecting some visibility elements, events down the bottom. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have page URL selected. And then I'm going to go matching regular expression, ignore case. And then I'm going to put in the particular page. So if we come back again to my search results page, I'm going to copy everything after the domain name and I'm going to paste that in, and now we're just going to adjust this so it's actually a regular expression. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a backslash in front of the question mark because we want to match that exactly. And then we're going to get rid of the test and I'm going to put a full stop and then a plus sign. And what this is going to do is it means that we're going to only trigger our tag when the no results element is available on the page, but also we're only going to actually trigger it when we're on the search results page. So it means we need the S query parameter in the URL and there needs to be a value associated with that. If you would like to learn more about regular expressions, then let me know in the comments and also check out the extra resources. I'll include a link in the description below this video. Okay, so now we have our no search results trigger created. So let's click on save and then we'll come back and use this in a moment. The other thing that we're going to do before we actually configure the tag is we're also going to create a variable, because what you might want to do, most likely, is not just know the number of no search results pages, but you're also going to want to know the search term on those pages, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come into variables and then we're going to create a new user-defined variable. So clicking on new, and then what we're going to do is we're going to call this one WordPress. You can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to call mine WordPress search term. And then I'm going to select variable configuration and we're looking for URL because we're wanting to pull that out of the URL for the query parameter. And then I'm going to select query and then we're going to put an S for our query parameter. So again, that's because if we look at the page here, we can see it's question mark S. If you had question mark Q equals something or question mark query equals something, then use that query parameter from your site. For mine, it's S, and then we're going to click on Save. So this is going to capture what we search for on the zero search results pages. So now we can finally create our tags. So let's come back to tags. We've already stepped through creating our Google tag, so that's there, which is good. We can click on New. So now let's name our tag. Let's call it No Search Results. And let's select tag configuration. We're going to select Google Analytics, and this time we're going to select GA4 event. So we're going to send this to Google Analytics as an event. So we select event. We need our measurement ID again. So we're just going to paste our measurement ID in. I'm just going to head back to Google Analytics and grab that again. Paste in our measurement ID. And then in this particular case, I'm going to name my event no_search_results. You can name your event anything you like, but that's what I'm going to go with. It sort of follows the naming convention used by Google for tracking the actual search results. So the measurement uses view_search_results. So I'm going to go with no search results. And then we're going to select event parameters to measure what people are searching for on those no search results pages. Click on add parameter. And I'm going to name my parameter no search results term. Again, you can name it anything you like. And then I'm going to enter two opening curly brackets, and I'm going to select the WordPress search term variable that we created earlier. So this is going to pull in the particular search terms people have entered into our website. So now all we need to do is scroll down, select triggering, and then we can select our no search results V1 trigger, and then we can save our tag. So now once this is saved, the next step is of course to preview it. So let's hit preview. And then we can plug in our website. I'm just going to quickly come in and grab the search results page URL, plug that in, click on connect. So now we've got the search results page. Tag Assistant will load in a moment, so it's loaded up. We can see it says, sorry, nothing matched. So let's head to Tag Assistant, and we can see we have our GA4 tag as fired, which is great. But more importantly, we now have the no search results tag. So we can actually select on the tag. And if we actually come through to element visibility, which is when the tag fired, I can then click on the tag again, make sure values is selected. And now we can actually see that we're recording that test value. So what we can do now is just to make sure things are working correctly, let's head back to the page, and this time I'm going to search for WordPress, just to make sure it's not triggering when there are actually search results. Loads up, it's connected, we have 2 search results, we can come back. So for this particular page, the second one we viewed, we can see that the no search results tag didn't actually fire, it's under tags not fired. So that's our first method that we can see. Okay, so now let's check out the second method, and also let me know if that particular method worked for you. I'd love to know, let me know in the comments. But now what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that there's actually this option here, the no search results class is not available. So let's just pretend that's not available. So what we're actually going to do this time is we're going to actually look for this content being visible on the page. So we're going to say use the sorry but nothing matched your search terms content. Okay, so to do this, let's come back into Google Tag Manager, and we're going to create a new trigger. So let's create a new trigger. And before we do that, actually, we need to create a variable. So let's come into variables, and we're going to create a new user-defined variable. And we're going to name this variable DOM element. So it's going to look for the element as it appears as the page loads for our site. So I'm going to select variable configuration, choose DOM element as the type, and we're just going to switch ID to CSS selector. And this time what we're looking for is, if we come back, we're going to use the page content to actually pull this in. So I'm going to come back to Google Tag Manager, and I'm going to put in full stop page dash content P for the paragraph. So let's just come back in. If we actually come in and let's go inspect element on this one. So we can see here that the sorry message is in a div with a class of page dash content. So we're going to use that. And then within that div, it's the paragraph. So we can see here the message is contained in the paragraph. So we're going to identify that as it becomes visible in people's browser. So we're going to come back. So we've entered that in, and then that's all good. So we're going to save that DOM element one for us. And then now the next step is we're going to create our trigger. So we come back to triggering, to triggers. We're going to create a new trigger, click on new, and we're going to name our trigger no search results. And we're going to call this V2. This is the second method that we're using. And we're going to select trigger configuration, and we're going to use initialization, which is when the page loads. And then we're going to say some initialization events, and we're going to use our DOM element, and we're going to say when it contains, and I'm going to paste in that piece of text. So I'm going to paste in the text, which is the sorry message. There's no search terms. So I paste that in. Now, we don't want this looking across all the pages. So let's add another condition here, and we're going to again use the same one we used last time, which was page URL. We're going to use matches regular expression, and we're going to enter in / / s equals full stop +, which will again mean that we're only triggering the tag when that message appears and when it's on the actual search results page within our website. So now we can click on save. So now we're going to adjust our tag. So currently the tag is using the first method. So we're just going to switch this over. So we're going to come into no search results. And I'm just going to change the trigger now. So I'm just going to remove the trigger we created for the first version. I'm going to select triggering and we're going to use the V2 option and we're going to click on save. And again, we want to preview this. So let's click on preview. Okay, our website's loaded up. We can see we have the test with the, sorry, there's no search results. And again, we can see our no search results tag is actually fired. So again, this time it's on the initialization tag. So we can select initialization, click on the no search results tag, look at values. And again, we can see we're now collecting that information into Google Analytics. And let's just do one more test again. Let's put in WordPress, search again, just to see that it's not triggering when there are results. So we can see we have got 2 results, tag assistance loaded, open up the tab. And then for this page, we can see the no search results tag hasn't fired. So there are 2 different ways that you can actually measure when there's 0 search results on your site. And again, we've looked at WordPress, but you can apply this to the other websites that you're using too. So these are 2 really great methods. Now, the final thing that I did want to also mention is because we actually created this parameter of no search results term, I just wanted to show you how to register this inside Google Analytics. So you'll then be able to actually see what people are searching for as they get the no search results. So to do this, we head into Google Analytics and we're going to come into data display, and then we're going to select our custom definitions. Again, we're in the admin area still here. So data display, custom definitions, and then we can create a new, we're on the custom dimensions tab. So we're going to create a new custom dimension. We're going to name the dimension. I'm going to call my no search results term. And then I'm going to leave this as event scoped, which is the default, which is good. And then I'm just going to enter in, not that, I'm going to enter in exactly what our parameter name was. So it was no underscore search underscore results underscore term. And now I can click on save. So we can see that is now created as a custom dimension. And then to actually use this, we're going to come into the Explore section of Google Analytics. We can create a new exploration report. I'm just going to click on blank. And then we're going to give it a name, no search results. Click on dimension, and then you'll find your custom dimension. You can also search for it, of course, but under custom, you'll see any custom dimensions you've configured. So no search results term, you can import that, and then you can add in the metrics. So you might want to go views, for example, and any other metrics that are associated with that particular event. And then we can see here in this particular case, we just need to add them in. I don't think we'll have any results. So it's showing as not set simply because we've just set this up. So the first thing we'll need to do before we start collecting data, of course, is head back into Google Tag Manager. And the final step is to submit this, so to publish it to your website. So added no search results tracking. And now moving forward, once you've collected data, so if you have some 0 search results, you can check back in tomorrow and then head into Google Analytics using the custom dimension you've now registered. And then this report will start to show you the number of views for the no search results terms on your website. So that's how you can track 0 search results into Google Analytics with the help of Google Tag Manager. We looked at 2 different techniques you can use. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. And if you'd love to learn even more about Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager, then please take a moment to check out my courses. I've included links in the description below this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.